Hi, everybody. This is Sylvia with Odyssey of Enlightenment, and we're here with Roseanne today talking about current energies. Hi, Roseanne. How are you?
Hello. Good, good, good.
So
Want me to start right away?
yes, let's talk about what's going on.
So, the gist of this was originally started with me working on my own stuff over the past few days. Okay, so we're all kind of home and doing our own things. We're kind of not we're getting more stuck in the house, and everybody is, right? So how do we deal with that? What are we supposed to be doing right now? And you can call it whatever you want to call it. A lot of people use the catchphrase shadow work, and if you don't know what that is, you can easily look it up and get the gist of what it's all about. So, Sylvia, do you want to go into what shadow work is, though, really quick, because you
Yeah,
explained
sure.
well?
It's basically just healing. Really, it's a root trauma that you have from growing up. We all have some of it to some degree, no matter if you had the perfect parents, which nobody has. So it's all stuff that we've collected from childhood, all our relationships, uh, even family, and
Right,
basically you're always recording, always remembering, and then your mind sends a message to you that, oh, love equals pain, or love is scary, or money is hard to get, or whatever messages that your mind records, and then it goes into your cellular memory, and then that is the tape that's running subconsciously, and then those are your beliefs. And if you don't go in there and look at it and say, well, actually that's not true, and dissolve it and replace it with a new belief that fits who you are now, because we're constantly evolving. You're not who you were when you were 7,
hmm
21, 33. You're different constantly. I mean, even from yesterday we're different. So you have to constantly be checking, like, is that true? And because those beliefs are how you create your reality, and from one moment to the next you could radically shift just by changing your mind about a belief
hmm hmm
and loving
I
yourself.
can.
So
I
basically just being super tender with yourself and not being angry for being sad, or um,
Right,
needing to be perfect.
right. So, like, and shadow work could be pretty much anything, anything that you have issue with. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of denser, low vibrational energy, so that way you can um, become lighter and lighter. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to become the most pure vessel for your divine self. Um, so I was thinking about like what was okay. None of these are easy, obviously, because it's programming that you've done to yourself, or that generations have done, or even past lives or whatnot. But like, for example, money. Okay, if you were brought up all your life thinking that there's never enough, then you're always going to think that there's never enough. But if you can look at, and this is like a lot of depression age babies, my parents were from the Depression. So it was always about, hoarding or making sure that you had extra for a rainy day. So a big shift I had to do was just to say, I have enough. Okay. So if I have this glass of water and this food and a roof over my head and this and that, do I need special this? Do I need special that? Do I what be satisfied with what you have first? And then suddenly it opens up your eyes to, wow, I have a lot, and everywhere you see abundance then. If you're looking through a different pair of eyes, and suddenly you will see that, oh, there's something here, there's something there, there's something, instead of always looking at with the eyes that
The lack.
you know the the lack, the money's never going to come, or this isn't going to come, or if you're looking very rigidly for dollar bills, you won't see that your girlfriend next door just gave you a bag of food. You won't see that somebody did your laundry for you, or bought you soap, or did your lawn, or I mean the millions of things that people could help each other, right? So that's one of those ways where you shift, just
But
a mental thing, and
yeah,
then
I feel like that's a lifestyle. That is a way you can't just do that with one thing. I feel like that's a 360 approach that you need to adopt into your life, and it goes hand in hand with like evolving and shadow work and all that. And I don't think shadow work is about removing anything. I think it's just about integrating, like saying, oh yeah, this is the angry part of me, but I don't hate her. She helped me because she got me out of some, difficult situations, and thank God for her. And I
yeah,
love her, but I don't need her anymore because we're not in battle. We're safe. But okay, like, thank you. And then, okay, come back in, and you're integrated. You're part of me, and I got bigger because I'm getting all these puzzle pieces. And with the mindset thing, I feel like in the beginning it's challenging because it's foreign and it's new, and it's like when you start working out, like it's awkward and weird, and you have to fake it till you make it. You just have to keep doing over and over, and like repeating. And then all of a sudden, before you even know it, it's just autopilot. And that's the way you speak to yourself. Because I used to be very negative, super negative. My parents were very negative. Everything was wrong. I couldn't do anything right, walking on eggshells, super critical. So then I became super critical, very judgy, very, glass half full, not enough, scarcity. And then when I started, making myself, because you have a choice, you have power. So I chose to shift my perspective, because what I was doing wasn't working. So I thought, well, I'm going to do the opposite then. And I flipped it to the opposite, which is, what's the opposite of whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're believing, flip it to the opposite, and then just try it on. Try it on for a week, try it on for a month, see what happens. It will shift. You will see a difference, but you have to keep at it. You can't stop. It's like saying, oh, I'm on a diet for today, but then I'm going to pig out tomorrow. Well, like, it doesn't work like that. You need consistency. So with anything, consistency is where you'll see the rewards. And then all of a sudden, you're just a new person, because now you think differently. So now I find myself, even in my sleep, I'll say affirmations, and I catch myself automatically dissolving the shitty thought with the, no, actually, everything's always working out for me. Everything's always unfolding in my favor. Everything benefits me. And even though I can't see it right now, I know this is going to be great. And just like talking myself up always.
So ending one program and rewriting a new program.
But like, what I noticed, what works the most is like, because the old program has been there for decades, right? So say, even if it's one sentence, like, oh no, how am I going to pay this bill? Or whatever your weird, whatever the sketchy thought is, it's so ingrained that it has a lot of oomph behind it. So you need to counterbalance it with like 10 new things. So you can't just replace it with one thing. So you have to like literally talk yourself into feeling relief, and you're just looking for relief. So then just blah, 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 you're like a machine gun. You got to blast it with a bunch of different ways. And then this is a really interesting part. And this is proof of quantum physics and the weird reality that we're in. As soon as you start reprogramming and like shoot it with a bunch of new thoughts, like everything's always working out for me. See, everything's gonna work out. I don't know how, but it's fine, and blah blah. And you just keep saying that, your brain will show you evidence of, oh, look, it's working out. Here's some evidence. Oh, look over here. Here's some evidence. Oh, look over here. Here's some evidence. So it's like, it just by you saying that, you don't even have to believe it. You just keep talking the new story, and it will show you, sometimes huge, sometimes very small, but celebrate those small pieces of evidence, because those little pieces of evidence are gonna grow. And that's what you want to
So
watch.
like what we could say is, light worker, watch your words. So anybody, actually it's anybody, but
Anybody,
this is
but
probably going to go to,
light workers have more power because,
well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
This will
because
be
if
probably
you,
seen more by the light workers anyway right now.
because our energy is giant, so like we can affect, so basically if like people that are not like us, they're like shooting with a little water gun, and we have like a machine gun. So it's like, if you say something bad, or if you say, oh no, we're all doomed, oh my god, like you're gonna fuck some shit up with your creating, because you have more bang behind your words, and like other people don't.
So what us light workers could do in a very easy way is, when we go out, which we're not really supposed to be going out or anything, but when we do go out, we are always the words of reason. We're always the, Sally Sunshine. We're always trying to, because when we speak, a lot of times we can create a new vibration, right?
Mm-hmm. So very calming,
So,
soothing. We're the balance.
mm-hmm. While in the same token, on a very energetic level, we're doing other work while we're there in public, as we have spoken before in the past about. So, but in the simplest way, light workers, if they actually get out of the house and are around people, just, yeah, what Sylvia's saying, constant barrage of, let's turn it positive, let's turn it positive. Don't allow the negative. Don't allow the negative.
But in
Because
your mind, what I've noticed is, if you try to say that to people that aren't ready to hear you, like for instance, say I have someone who's like complaining, and they're at the grocery store or whatever, and I try to tell them, think positive, turn it around, blah blah, they're not going to hear me. Their walls are going to go straight up, and they're going to be like, fuck off, who the hell are you? Because sometimes people get in love with complaining, and they like that shit.
Sure.
And once they're in it, they're in it. And it's like eating a bag of potato chips. You can't eat just one. So
that's all about discernment, though, too, because like when I was working that cash register, there were some people where I knew I wouldn't say anything, so I would just shut down, so that their energy wouldn't come at me. That very bad, negative, like, you can't say nothing to them, they're
just
gonna
send them
tear
a
you
bubble.
apart. I would just shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like most people, like, say they're complaining, and you could kind of almost tell that you got a chance with them. You could always be like snarky. You can be like, well, at least we're not 6 feet under.
Exactly. That's how you do it. Or you change the subject. Changing the subject works really well. It's a manipulation tactic, and you do it with kids. I've done it with my kids. We're like, oh, look at this crayon. And I just like start shifting, and then they're like, what? And then they forget what they were talking about. But like with an adult, you could be like, oh, I love that jacket. Where did you get that jacket?
Yes,
or whatever.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Totally,
like, I can't tell you.
It like a child.
I can't tell you how many moms like have come through the store, and I'm just like, they're all in their pajamas and looking all ooga booga and stuff. And then they come to the register, and they're just all like, negative and horrible and feeling like whatever. And they're ready to start complaining. And I look at them, I said, well, at least you look really adorable in pajamas, stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, like, the whole thing shifts.
It
like,
does.
Oh, wow.
It's like opening the curtains and you let the sunshine in. Yeah.
So you don't have to always be, conspiracy theory and pushing this and pushing that and blah, 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 blah. You could just do it in a little snarky way. And it's almost like as if you're, it's almost like a game at that point because you know
Yes.
what you're doing and they don't, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
So
And as
then
long as,
let's,
and then it gives you light because I feel when I give it, oh my God, I feel it in me. So I feel like I'm giving it to myself, really, right? You're blessing
so
someone and they bless you back.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I was going to say, I got a little note here to talk about uh, if you get overwhelmed in public, what are some steps you can take? Well, you know, a lot of people who are well into light working and whatnot, a lot of them do have teams or guides or such and such. But if you don't, always know that, you know, there are angelics that are at your disposal at any moment. You just need to call them because they are of the light, and so therefore they have a contract to not interfere in human doings. Although I have to say that I'm kind of feeling that's not very true anymore. The veil is
Well,
so has been lifted.
unless called, and everybody has a team, whether they talk to them or not. So talk to them.
Right.
They're there. So
Hmm.
are the angels.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there. But like
Hmm.
people, I mean, well, I think that the confusion is that the ones that think, oh no, that's not me. Yes, it is. It is you. Everybody
Hmm.
does. That's not like we're not special. You have it too.
Hmm.
Everybody does. And just start the conversation. Like when you meet a stranger, you say, hi, my name's Sylvia. And it goes from there. So you talk to your team. You could talk in private. When I'm home, I send the angels up ahead of me, clear the road, clear any obstacles, clear any blockages, go to the store for me, like clear out any shit, whatever, I don't know. Clear it out, give me a smooth experience. And I mean, whatever is meant to happen will happen, whatever it is. But I'm hedging my bets and I'm stacking the chips in my favor. And like they're there. They want to help you. Send them, use
And
them.
the thing is you got to keep asking. You got to keep acknowledging. You got to keep saying. But like I was going to say that I feel like it's not as. So how it used to be was like you had to keep saying for every little thing. You'd be like, hey, I need you guys. Hey, I need you guys. Hey, this. Hey, that. Hey, this. Hey, that. I'm almost feeling nowadays, like right now as I'm speaking, I almost feel like it's not as uh, like so if you call on them one time you should keep calling on them. Of course, you should keep calling on them. But if you miss, they're more around nowadays. Do you feel like that? Do you feel that, or is that just maybe me what I'm getting?
Well, I feel like because of what's going on, you mean? Like we have more help?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
more
The
light.
veil
There
is
is more
gone.
light here. The veil's gone, but I also feel like I'm at the point where I don't call them as much as I used to. I mean, my favorite, of course, Michael and Raphael, yes, but like not, and even them, like it's rare when I do call them.
Yeah,
Um, Now I'm more like, I guess because I've trained myself so hard of like everything's working out in my favor, blah, blah. So I just like don't concern myself. Of course, that doesn't mean that there's not moments that I'm feeling emo and like I can feel the heaviness of what's happening because I feel like that today, since the full moon, I've been feeling like this lingering sadness, this heaviness, and it's like around me. And I know it's not inside of me, but it's around me. And I don't know
yeah.
if I'm picking up if it's mine, if it's the neighbors, if it's people that I'm connected to. It's probably all of that, honestly. I think it's, yes, all of it.
Well, I want to talk about that because so you said that yes, what 2 days ago?
I said at the
When were we?
full moon, yeah.
Yeah, you were
Today's
saying how
choices.
sad you were in this and that, and then we had kind of pinpointed it to one thing. But I think there's so much of it, you know. I
It's
think that
that's why
what we were
it's a
talking about.
lot of things all together because and I think that's why it's like you knock one thing down and then five more are over here and you're like and then
Mhm.
I'm like because I keep feeling tempted to just blame it on one thing and it's not. It's all of it. I just feel like this giant yes, yes, all of it, all of it.
Yeah, yeah. So because there's lots of like on my one light workers group alone, you know, people are constantly putting stuff up there. I feel such sadness. I feel such despair. I feel this. Does anybody else feel that way? And it's like, yes, everybody. Yes, lots and lots of us. Yes. So I was going to talk about like what are some things that could help boost you as well. Now this is going back to like square one back in the day. You know, what are some of the things that we were told back then, and lo and behold, it's carried through. Magnesium
Oh,
because of the
salt bath.
nerves,
I've been
right?
using the salt bath. Yeah, I've been doing it, but okay, so this is the biggest thing that I've learned. Yes, all the tools, but first and foremost, understanding like what's happening. It's I feel like it's old pieces of me and all of
Mm-hmm.
us dying. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is giving myself permission to feel whatever the hell it is I need to feel and not uh being mad at myself because I noticed that that's the temptation when I don't feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I beat up on myself and I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel like this. Why do I feel like this? And resisting it. And like you had mentioned before, embrace that pain. And I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, pain is my buddy right now. I don't know why you're here, but okay, you're here. And I'm not going to fight with you.
Yeah.
Just, all right, if I need to cry, I'm going to cry. Whatever it is I need to do, I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
be with it and not wrestle it because I don't want it to grow bigger. I want it to dissolve and go. And,
Well,
you know,
Well, I was meaning like, so I was thinking about like the people who might not be able to get to that point yet, you know? I mean, uh, think about when we were more starting, how we were almost like drowning, you know, trying to just
a
grasp
lot of
up
people are
above.
drowning right now. Yeah.
So I almost feel like some of these little tips, like the magnesium, eating magnesium, or you said the salt bath, stuff like that. Sometimes when we're under this bombardment of what we don't understand at that moment, then at least that can dissipate and get you in a space of time or in a mood frame where you can now maybe work through that. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the middle of panicking and drowning and
Right.
anxiety attack and all these other things, you can't think straight. So
Right.
maybe
Right.
having a little toolbox you could go
Right.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
So
layering the magnesium would help then, like eating it, foods with magnesium, and then soaking in it with the Epsom salt. That's your body's
was
absorbing it through the water and then through, or the salt and through food. What foods have magnesium? I think bananas do. Uh, Mushrooms,
avocado.
avocado. Oh yeah, avocado. I love avocado.
So interesting because when we were learning way at the beginning, someone was telling us magnesium pills, and I was never for like supplements,
Mhm.
like that. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
will, but that wasn't my thing. I always try to rather go with something else. And then lo and behold, avocados went on sale, and I was eating an avocado and an egg almost every day. And then I went to Belgium, and all of a sudden there was no avocados around. But guess what came around? That water I was telling you about, that mineral water. Lo and behold, I come back home and there's like not avocados again. And I'm like, what the heck? But I really want to find this mineral water that I was drinking. Well, manifested something else, but it's just like it. Look at it, and it's all full of magnesium. So see how
Wow.
the universe just always made sure to keep that in place for me?
Hmm. Yeah, that
It
starts
was
with the
very
mindset
weird.
of I always have what I need, though. That'd be a good
Mm-hmm.
mantra, or even write it several times. I always have what I need. Reminding yourself that you are taken care of, even when it doesn't
Right,
feel like it, because we are.
right. And see, now I'm getting a thought process. So I'm addicted to these these quantum codes now, you know, like I want to try every which way to possibly use them. And if you guys don't know, look up the other videos where Sylvia's talking about quantum healing codes. It's pretty amazing. So, you know, remember how I used to do the crystal water? You know, I would put, and it wouldn't have to be for the full moon or the new moon. Shoot, you could just put your jars of water and put whatever stones you want on top of them and get that healing effect through there, right? Well, shoot, you can do that with your codes, writing them on the bottles of water for magnesium, for, you know, put your intention in there that that's what you need. Something that'll make your vessel a little bit stronger, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The one for fun,
And
the one for like the happiness, all that stuff.
any of that, right, 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 right. And then, you know, put it with the certain stones, like, you know, specific stones are actually for, you know,
Mm.
an asthma or for a cough
Whatever you
or
need.
whatever. hmm So anyway, that could be another thing. You said about the Epsom salt baths, immune system boosters. We're now in a period of time where that's a huge deal, right? So eat properly. I mean, like, we're getting a real opportunity to be at home and to cook and to do homemade stuff. And, you know, it seems like the more natural the stuff is, the higher vibe you become, you know?
Yeah.
Um, Immune boosters are like garlic. And I've, a while ago, I'm going to talk about the apple cider vinegar and honey thing. Remember when you had the channeling about the honey, you know, that it was helping us, helping our blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from that way back when, I started thinking about how when I worked in the nursing homes, the older women talked about drinking a little teaspoon of apple cider vinegar with whatever, you know, and I thought, okay, I'm going to research that because it sounded right. And then you said something about the apple cider vinegar with honey, with mother in it. And it just all kind of came together. And so I've been drinking that for months now, and it has boosted my immune system like you can't believe. But see, there's all these little tricks and stuff that we learn along the way that I feel
Yeah.
like we as a community should be sharing with each other, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
I,
rosemary is a really great oil scent and all that stuff that's
what do you use
very
that for?
beneficial for light workers. I wear it. It boosts and empowers my energetic field. I
I in
will,
Sorry to interrupt you, but in a QHHT session, I was told to, for me specifically, to have sprigs of rosemary, and you can get them at the grocery store for like $1.50 for a bunch of them, like a dozen, and
hmm
put them in all my windows, and I would carry one in my pocket. And basically, it's to prevent anyone from accessing your field. It puts like a cloak, a protection cloak, and you can have one over your front
absolutely.
door. And so I did that for a really long time. I had one on my headboard, all the windows. I don't feel called to use it anymore, but I'm just throwing it out there if anybody needs it. What I've been guided to do, I haven't been drinking the vinegar for a while, but my kids use it on their face. I was guided to
hmm
tell them to put it on a cotton ball before bed and put it on their skin for acne. Oh my God, that works like magic. And then they just rinse it in the morning. And so that's what they use, the apple cider vinegar with the mother. So the Bragg's, that's what I get. But I've
Yeah.
been guided to drink on an empty stomach as soon as I wake up, organic ground ginger, half a teaspoon in a cup of hot boiled water. And I've been drinking that. And that is a huge immune booster. And it is so soothing. I cannot tell you, it feels, oh my God, it wakes you up. It's just a little bit spicy, but not really. It's just very mildly spicy. And I keep being guided to drink that. For a while, I was
Yeah.
guided to drink cinnamon tea. So basically, the sticks of cinnamon, you just boil them in water, let it steep for 15 minutes, and drink that. and that psychic protection. Not only that, but it amplifies your psychic abilities. So, I mean, those were the things that I personally received. I haven't been guided to drink the cinnamon lately, but maybe I should because I've been feeling like something's around. So I'm gonna drink it tonight.
Cinnamon is also for abundance.
Yeah. I keep one in
Yeah.
my wallet. I keep a stick of it in my wallet.
Nice. And so, like you were talking about the rosemary, and I pull out my book because my
Mhm.
book's got everything in here. You know, it's so good. And exactly what you were saying about that, it talks about even burning the incense. But I do lots of burning of the herbs and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But exactly what you were saying about the you know, for protection, sort of, you know,
Oh,
and
okay.
to clear up your field and all that stuff. Sure thing. Yep, yep, yep. So, what other things would I? Oh,
Oh, for like
potassium.
you're saying for like a toolbox when you feel off, when you feel yucky, the salt baths. Oh my God. And if you can't get in a tub, because a lot of people say, well, I don't have a tub. Man, I get a bucket and I put hot water in that baby and I put a handful of Epsom salt and I soak my feet. And even that,
Good enough.
as as
Mm-hmm.
as like small as it sounds, number one, oh my God, it's so soothing. And
Mm-hmm.
number two, um, I even found that when I first woke up and I was getting a lot of spiritual attacks, I
Mm-hmm.
found, and I don't know if it was Catholic, I don't know what it is, and I'm not Catholic, but it was something related with exorcisms. And that was one of their things that they instructed people to do was to fill a bucket with hot water and sea salt.
Mm-hmm.
They said sea salt, and put it in there and bless it, bless the water, bless the sea salt, and in the name of Christ, basically command that anything that is not of light, leave your vessel. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, you just sit there and you're chanting the whole time that you have your feet in the water. And the very first time I did it, this was like in 2016, I threw the water out and it smelled like cigarette smoke. And I don't smoke. My kids don't smoke. There's no smokers in my house. So there is no reason for that water to have smelled like cigarette. And I dumped it in the toilet. You're supposed to dump it out and rinse out your bucket and then just let the bucket dry. And you don't rinse your feet. You leave your feet salty because
Mm-hmm.
you want that salt there. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, you're removing, because they say the feet are portals, you're removing whatever the hell was in you, affecting you. And I mean, that it changed me a lot. And I don't know if it was
Mm-hmm.
my faith or me doing it diligently every day, but that I did that for like a year, every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and you were in that space and time then. See, you don't need that anymore, really, right? Because now you are
Oh,
able
but
to
now a
do that
lot of
with your
people
own
are in
life.
that space. I feel like we traded. I feel like the other people that were, regular people, they were like, "Oh, life is wonderful." Well, not wonderful because they were miserable, but like they were so blind to everything that they didn't care. And I felt like I was losing my mind. And now the reverse. Now I'm
Right.
just observing and they're losing their mind. So that's why I share it,
Right.
because I feel like whoever is watching this that just woke up or knows someone that's really struggling, try it. You have
Yeah.
nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's a certain point where it's so fucking scary and like you feel so fucking alone that you are desperate and you will try
Yeah.
anything. And that's
Mhm.
exactly how I felt. And it worked for me. Oh my God, it changed my life. It helped me so
Mhm.
much.
Well, and then I think what happens a lot of times too is it gives you enough of a foothold in order for you to turn on your gifts and all of a sudden, oh
Mm.
wow, I'm
And
like
listen,
able to do this.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then so then it opens the curtain just a little bit more and you can let more light in and then you can think all of a sudden, you can feel, you can hear.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you take care of it in your special way. And what I've noticed is each light worker has their own
Yeah.
special way to take care of something, you know. Um, some people have, you know, like the purple flame. Some people just burst out white light. Some people have like a little avatar or something in their mind's eye that they drift stuff over to and it gets removed. Some people have like me, I have a fountain
Mm-hmm.
and everything else. So, oh, here comes my son.
Hmm.
So, avatar. So, yeah, I mean, so then you take care of it in the
Yeah.
way you know how to take care of stuff. You
Your
know what I
guidance
mean?
will turn on, and
Um,
you'll be called to do something. Or like working with
right.
crystals. Crystals help too. I have my giant selenite that I've been carrying because I'm like, help me. I need to feel better. I want to feel better.
Hmm.
I choose to feel better.
Yeah. It's yeah, some of these are very uplifting, positive vibes. I have a selenite wand as well. It's quite a bit smaller though. It's funny, you probably can't see it, but
I can
it's
see
very
it.
warped.
It's big. It's pretty big. The other one I have is a little
It's
teeny tiny one.
warped.
Whatever you have. And I put this under my pillow at night and I sleep with my pillow. Well, I've been trying to connect with our friend, Ray. So I've been
Hmm.
having this under my pillow to like help with like the channeling or whatever. And
Yeah,
I feel all my chakras turn on with this thing. I just put it under my
sure.
pillow, even with the little one. I put it under my pillow and I feel the God's mouth back here, my third eye, my
Yeah.
crown, they're like spinning really fast. It's so interesting.
You know, yeah, I was going to say too, I've been called the last few days. So really quickly about myself, I've been going through some of the most excruciating pain in my shoulder and arm that I have ever experienced in my life. And I know, so like, I, I think like I injured, well, I, I, I did something at work and I'm a healer. And this should be something that should have just been healed very easily by me and my friends. But yet I'm now more and more delving into other people who are kind of going through the same thing. It's like I don't yet know all the components pieced together, but I feel like there's a big releasing thing that I am doing. That a lot of this has something to do with. So whenever I get to the point where I release whatever that is, or change, or fix, or whatever that I need to
Mm-hmm.
do, it's just going to be gone because when I so that's another thing too. If you're a light worker and you're dealing with physical pain and you're like, but I didn't hurt myself or it shouldn't be this bad or whatever. A lot of times we feel it in our physical body. And I mean the concept is up here, but I can't speak it. I
Okay, I
just
think
don't know
what
how
you're
to.
saying is like the energy you're experiencing, you feel it physically. So kind of like when you pick up psychic information, people think, like on the movies, that it's like, oh, you see like this movie play out in front of you. Well, sometimes, but
Mhm,
not all the time. Other times
mhm,
you feel it physically. Like
mhm,
me, if I feel sadness, that's why it's feeling these emotions sometimes fucks me up because it feels like mine and it
mhm,
might as well be mine because I'm the one crying and
mhm,
that's confusing. So that's when you have to go investigating, like, where's this coming from? What are you trying to tell me? What do you want? And like with you with your arm, you're probably picking up something psychically, but you feel it physically.
mhm.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, very much so. And then, and then it's exacerbated because of maybe something that is going on with the collective. So, like, so one of the things was the fear of being alone, the self worth. That's huge for
Yes,
like
right now,
everyone.
everybody, a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people that I'm talking to, me personally, a lot of people are feeling it. And I feel like that's a huge reason why we're in, isolation to deal with our shit. and like
Yeah.
to face those
So,
little kid wounds.
right. And some of them, it's like, so for me, and this is how I do my light work. So I lay on my zero gravity chair and I just start taking my mind and looking inside my arm, wherever it may be hurting. And then what happens is as I start focusing, I start seeing memories of things, or
Oh, wow.
they or painting pictures of a situation or a scenario, and a lot of times it'll hit home, and it's like, okay, so here's an issue, let's look at this issue, what happened, okay, we're done with that issue, let's get rid of it now, and then I transmute it. And so I've been doing that over and over and over, thousands and thousands of Polaroid snapshots basically,
Wow.
and they're not all mine, they're just situations, they're self-worth issue situations, and
Mm.
they just keep popping up. So I was telling you about something that was just, this was my like mind amazing thing,
Mhm.
was that uh, I felt this lack of worth, right? You can be with somebody, you can have the most loving person in a relationship with you, right? They could be doting, they could be lovey-dovey, they could be, everything. But if you yourself in your heart don't believe that you're worthy enough to feel those things or to be that person, it doesn't matter what anybody says, and you're always going to have a void that needs to be filled. So what ended up happening in my deep meditation, and I'm still working on it, like I'm revisiting it because I need to cement that as like, this is my new reality. But uh, all my life I've been pretty much like tomboyish. So my divine masculine has always been sort of bigger. Since what, over a year ago now, I brought about the divine feminine, and that's when I learned my light, and that's when I started doing my grid work and all this stuff, right? Well, my divine feminine is very broken. No, that's not right. Don't say that. Switch. So my divine feminine is needs she needs mm,
To be
to
bigger.
believe that she's good.
Mm.
She needs to believe that she's good enough, and this and that. And how do you feel that way? Well, by your exact self telling you that you are that way. You know what I mean? So my masculine then, because the feminine is, and you're the one that was kind of explaining this to me. The feminine is like a receiver. She is a more passive. She is a whereas the masculine is more aggressive, more of a
A doer.
physical and right. So my feminine needed to hear my masculine tell her that she's good enough. So
Mm.
literally, I am seeing a version of myself, more masculine, speaking to a version of
Mhm.
myself, very feminine, saying and I'm seeing myself as the masculine speaking it.
Wow, that's
Okay.
so cool.
So I am the masculine speaking to my feminine. Now I turn myself around in the meditation, and now I am that feminine receiving the information. And there's no denying that that person, that being, was lying, because I was me doing it the whole
Mm.
time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the problems I think I've heard. I will say every single person I've talked to, they can't trust that, when somebody's saying that they're good enough or whatever. Well, they may be lying. Well, they may be,
Yes. Oh my God. Even I can relate to that because like we were just talking about this before we started recording, that I was saying that this sadness energy is kind of like that self-worth feeling of like, because I'm not married, because I'm not in a relationship, and feeling like I don't exactly all those feelings, but blaming it on that. But then in the same token, you are
I
in a
am.
relationship, you are married, and you still feel that. And I know so many people, I know all the guys I know, like a bunch of them are going through this. Not all of them, but I
Mhm.
mean, well, I mean, maybe they are, but they don't talk about it. But like, this is a big thing happening right now. A lot of us are feeling this. Um, and if you think you're not, like, really sit and investigate, because I bet you
Mhm.
are.
Mhm. Well, and then now I'm getting a little information here, and you could confirm this. Like, so with men, in their body here on Earth, they are kind of been shown that they need to be this certain way, right? Well, very like, masculine and things don't hurt me and, all this kind of stuff. But if they don't ever harness or figure out that they do have this feminine side to them, and then they don't nourish her, then they're just in the same boat that we all are, you know?
Well, that's how you
Um,
create too. You need the feminine to create. So basically the
mhm,
goal is to have both balanced. That's it. Like
mhm,
have
mhm,
them both be front and center, equally balanced, and because you need both. You need to be aggressive, but you also need to receive, and you need to create, and you need to do.
mhm,
So all of them. And then, it ebbs and flows like a marriage, like a partnership.
mhm. But the one thing that I've started now is that, like, no more am I really reaching outside of myself first. I'm only reaching inside myself first.
Yeah.
I want to say good morning to my
Mhm.
duality or
Right.
whatever. I want to
Yeah.
say good morning to the two of them. I want to have this love relationship within
Yeah.
myself, because then, it's like I'm excited about her. I'm excited about him, like imagine, um,
So
so this
cultivating
would
that
be our,
feeling, cultivating that feeling
yeah.
in you, and
Hmm.
practicing it to yourself, because that way
Hmm.
you don't need anybody. Yes, it's fun to play with people. Yes, love is amazing. Romance is beautiful. Yes, and of course we all want it and we all deserve it. But right then, if you don't do this work, when you do get the relationship, you're not going to believe them when they tell you, because you're all fucked up in here. So, I mean, then it's like how
Yeah.
you said, yeah, you're married and he's wonderful, but you don't believe it. Or there's a piece
Right.
of you, there's just one little piece of you that's like, well, is that true? And like, you don't
Hmm.
want to be
Hmm.
like that. You want to be in it 100%. You want to
Right.
enjoy it.
Right. Hmm. Hmm. And also too, it's just all the way around. Like, I mean, it's blowing my mind at what they're, this is Archangel Raphael. It's obviously a healing thing. And he's just like, think about it. Think about just everything, you now have a little higher self-esteem because you love yourself. And so it overflows into everything that you do, because you don't want to create junk now, because you love what you are
That's
all
true.
about.
Yeah.
You don't want to, and he's like, you don't want to uh, be junk. You know your worth. You're not going to bullshit yourself. If you're having these internal conversations about, this is what I am very good. Somebody else cannot tell you that you're not good. They're just
Well,
the
and it
wrong
doesn't
person
matter.
then.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you claim your divinity, and then that's what you attract to you. And not only that, then you become the master. You become the example for other people watching you, because that's another thing. You think nobody's watching you, everybody's watching you, you
Mhm.
know?
And
And
this is all in the highest good. This is never like this. We're talking all high vibrational
right.
feelings. You know, this is not like, oh, I'm hot, blah blah blah. Look at
Yeah.
me. Blah, blah. No, 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 no. This is all about what's in your heart, what's in your, you know. I mean, it's.
Well, I think it's everything, honestly, because I do think it's that too. It is that. It's all of it. It's everything. Because think of
Mhm.
the things that you want your perfect partner to say to you. You say that to yourself and you believe it about
Right.
yourself.
right, but I was thinking more along the lines of think about how like lower vibrational physical
Oh, yeah,
things
yeah, yeah.
work,
I see what you're
you
saying.
know?
Yeah, like pickup lines
Mm-hmm.
and crap like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You want to
Exactly.
go to, that's true because like now I'm dating. So like in that arena, after being married for so long, I'm starting to
Mm-hmm.
see like, oh, like that's what's out there. Like, oh, and like I
Mm-hmm.
want more. Like, no, I'm not settling for that. Like, no, I don't want scraps. I don't want that just like one night stand energy or side chick energy or no, absolutely not. We don't do that here.
Well, and another thing too is, see, I was going to say something else, but now I'm being told to talk about that sexual energy. The other thing too is one night stands and stuff like that. They just, okay, wow. He's very adamant about saying that doesn't happen in the spiritual community. If that's happening in the spiritual community, you need to check it.
Well, you're
Wow,
wasting your
that must be a
kundalini.
thing,
You're leaking your chi.
I guess.
Yeah.
See,
Well, I mean, that's
I'm
why
not even about that, so I don't know that.
I was guided a while ago to stay celibate because my guidance told me that I needed to preserve my chi, my life force, to
Hmm.
accelerate my healing. And I mean,
Yeah.
so my healing has been accelerated, and I mean, I'm still healing, but it amplifies it greatly, and you're able to create, you're able to manifest quicker because you have
Hmm.
all of your life force and you can direct it. Now, that's not
Hmm.
saying never, that's not saying it's going to be like that forever, but
Right.
my guidance is that's what I hear and that's what I'm told and that's what I follow. And
Hmm.
so until I find someone that is at my level, that has done their work, that is single, that has integrity and like the things, my non-negotiables,
Hmm.
then I will entertain the possibility. But I mean, until then, it's a solid no. And that's because that goes back to that loving myself. Because if I love myself, I'm not going to go outside and start eating rocks and fuck up my teeth.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
eat garbage, like dig shit out of the garbage can for dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't have
So
to,
you,
I'm going to make a beautiful meal for myself. I'm going to be good to myself. I'm not going to say, oh, well, it's just me, so I'm not going to cook. I'm just going to eat
yeah.
ramen. No, I'm going to make a beautiful meal because it is me. So treating
Yeah.
yourself like you would your husband or your lover or the object of your affection, that's what my guidance told me, because I treated my husband like a king. So now I
Hmm.
turn that around and I treat myself like a queen.
Hmm.
And I feel like when you
Well,
do that, you get into the habit and then you attract that. And I'm not doing
yeah.
it to attract it. I'm doing it because I want to feel that right now.
Well, I keep hearing just keep reiterating about because like what's happening right now is a lot of people are coming together, you know, and there's so what's happening is you're getting like this crazy heart thumping energy because oh my God, I'm finally finding other
Oh,
woke
yeah.
people, and
Mhm.
so you're feeling this vibration, and it's all uh,
Sometimes it's
it's just a
misleading.
part. Yeah, it's a
Sometimes
part
it's
of the process.
misleading.
Here's the thing is that if you're if you're coming together in not a good reason, then it's usually an empty affair. You know what I mean?
Well, it's going
Like
to be like
when
3D.
two
It's the same shit.
yeah, when people come together, uh, you know, just the one night stand kind of an energy, even in the spiritual community. I mean, it just doesn't. I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to get me to say here. Um, he's like, okay, so the concept is something like the woman's womb. It's the creation, right? And so when you're coming into her uh, with your physical self, um, coming together, two beings as one. It needs to be in the highest, like your soul, your energy body needs to be in a very positive light, as well as hers. There cannot be this emptiness there. You know what I mean?
Like the discord. Because
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like as empaths, we attract I noticed my pattern, and even in looking back at my relationships, previous relationships, I noticed I attract, before I'm canceling that shit now. I used to attract broken men that needed to
Mm-hmm.
be saved, that needed to be healed, that needed to be put back together, and I'll save you. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
I say Captain Save a Ho. I that's like my Achilles heel is like, oh, you poor little thing, I'll save you. And I noticed
Mm-hmm.
with the last one I was talking to, no. No, Sylvia, stop it. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, like I woke up in the middle of my pattern, like, what the fuck am I doing? No, all kinds of no. And like you
Good thing though.
said, it's
See,
like,
and then that's where you release. You release that, and then you
yeah,
now
you
can
grow.
anchor in something new.
Yes. And so it just helps you create the next one better. But it's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting because it was exactly like you said, like, oh, they're awake. Oh my God. That means it's like awake equals perfect, and that's not fucking true. Right?
Mm-mm. No.
They just know they're fucked
Yeah.
up. That's the only
Yeah.
difference. Right?
Yeah. And then, so another thing I was thinking about was because I was kind of bringing it back to when you're overwhelmed in public, what are some of the steps that you could do? Uh, um, and we were talking about the bath, coming home to an Epsom salt bath or even putting your feet in it. We were talking about, our guides, calling our guides in and asking them for assistance. You were saying about, Archangel Michael. You could even, you could research, there's actually quite a few of the battle angels, they call them, that can come and swoop in immediately. I mean, it's your own self. You can quietly, get quiet and just feel like white light bursting out of you,
Yes. That is
Um,
so powerful, that just shooting it out, and just imagine like it surrounding you.
mhm. So what if this is a person who doesn't really understand much about, light work or anything at all? In the Christian communities, they call it grace, they call it the Holy Spirit, they call it,
Well, Mother Mary, oh my God, she will surround you with a ton of love. She'll just saturate you. I call her a lot. Um,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
just ask her to
So
grab
growing
her
up, that's what my
armpit.
mom did.
Mother Mary. Mother
Yeah.
Mary's a good one to call if you feel that, ooh, and like you need immediate relief, immediate help.
Yeah.
Just at Jesus Christ.
Mhm. And then that was very interesting, the concept that your other video was talking about. He was talking about your Christed light inside of you. Remember when I do healings on people in their heart chakra, I literally can see like three colors, three chambers, and one of them is like a Christ consciousness. That's the Christed light. So when you have that inside you, you just can be calling from within because he's there. The energy, the Christ energy is there. That's that unconditional love, and when you can harness that, holy moly, then it's right here on earth with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's whatever you feel comfortable with, really. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable calling on beings, then use the white light.
Mm-hmm,
Call
mm-hmm,
on your God self, your source, and that's also from the heart, and just shoot it out. For me, I feel like setting your game plan before you go helps tremendously. So just setting the intention. I, I still do it. I always say this is I start every single day with today's a great day. Everything's working out for me.
yeah.
I always get what I want. I command my victory. I declare my victory, and I say it. I jump up and down and I'm telling the world, these are the plans. Now bring me the evidence. Show me. And the world will show you evidence. And so
Well,
just
when I would go to work, how simple this was. Oh my gosh, you're going to laugh your butt off. So I would have victories, little tiny victories throughout the day, and I would celebrate it with Michael and Raphael because I could always hear them easiest, you know. But like, okay, what did I do for what, you know, what was my latest job? I went and I took a dollar store job. I would be opening boxes and putting stock on shelves, and then I would be taking care of customers. And before I started setting the intention, so in the morning, you know, before my shift, I would set the intention of this is going to be a super quick day, da 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 da. It's going to be 8 o'clock. It's going to be 8 o'clock, then 10 o'clock, then 1 o'clock, and I'll be home. You know, that's how fast it's going to be. I'm going to look at the clock and it's going to be already 10 o'clock, you know, and sure
yeah.
enough, if I said that every time, that happened.
You talk yourself into it. You talk yourself into it. And you basically can talk yourself into anything. And look at all the shitty things we talk ourselves into. So why suffer?
Yeah, so I'd be like, okay, or if my boss would give me this big, huge container that had like 50 boxes on it or whatever, and she'd be like, okay, get this done, you know, and I knew I only had like an hour and a half to do it or something like that. I would hurry up and I'd be like, okay, guys, make this really nice and easy for me, please, you know, and I'd be kind of looking at it and I just feel it. I just feel it throughout my body that, you know, this is going to be easy. And sure enough, you know, you'd open up a case and there'd be like 6 things. Well, if you can't put 6 things on the shelf, then you got to find places to put it. It's just a fiasco. It's a pain. And I'd open up a box, 6 things. There's 6 spots. I'd be like, yes, all right, guys, thank you. I'd open up the next box. It'd be 4 things in there. I look at the thing, 4 spots. I'd be like, yes. And like whole freaking rolltainers.
It
never
spreads like wildfire.
Away.
Doesn't it spread like wildfire? And the second you celebrate something, so anything, celebrate it as a victory, you will expand and amplify that energy and it will come to you from everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't care how ridiculous and small it is. Celebrate it.
Yeah. And then like, so I'm sitting here putting up boxes or whatever, you know, doing this tedious, dumb work, you know, but I'm calling victory on each freaking box that goes up there straight. You know what I mean? And I'm just living in this happiness of doing this simple, dumb job. And then somebody crabby will come around the corner and they'll see my big old smile. And then suddenly they'll just sort of be like, what was I crabby about? You know?
Right.
And see, everybody could do that. Everybody should do that. Everybody should do that.
Well, even at home, you can do that. You don't just have to be somewhere. It's anywhere. Basically, it's like make the best out of wherever you are. Make the best of it. And what I keep this whole week, what I've been guided, because, you know, we're so tempted to go to the past and be sad or go to the future and be scared. And I keep getting yanked into no, stay right here. So in my prayers in the morning, when I pray, I set the intention that I will stay in the present moment and I will make the best out of the present moment to its maximum potential. And I choose to amplify the fun in my field and I amplify the joy in my field because I want to look for all the ways that I can have more fun, more joy right now in every moment, because you're only powerful in this now moment, right? Tomorrow, you don't know if you're going to see tomorrow. And did yesterday happen? Do you have proof? We don't know. Like it could be all a fucking illusion. We don't know. So right now, what can I do to have fun right now? I'm going to put worrying on pause. And like Scarlett O'Hara says in Gone with the Wind, I love that movie. If you feel like shit, watch that movie. She is so inspiring. And she says, I'll worry about it tomorrow. So she basically puts her worrying on hold. And worrying doesn't do shit for anybody. It just makes you suffer twice. So why? Don't. No, put it on hold. And then tomorrow, put on hold again. Because it's
Yeah.
not real. It's not true.
And don't, here's a, don't, like, follow your intuitions with that. So like, I'm going to give a quickie for you. So I was going through court, okay? And it was, didn't know how I was going to take care of this situation. And I just would get quiet and I would ask, what do I do next? And basically I would get like, just go there and see what'll happen. I would go there. And then as things were going on, I'd be like, okay, now what do I do? Just do what the lawyer guy says. Okay, fine. Well, it was continued the one time, then it was continued the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now this third time around, we're now with this virus. It's forever and ever continued because nothing's going to turn out with it.
And
right.
Circumstances don't matter because remember, everything is just a story. Everything is just a story. So then, is it really did it really happen? Is it gonna happen? Nothing is fucking solid right now. Everything is so liquid and floaty, and not even liquid. It's more like steam. Everything feels like steam. It's like the old is gone, the new is sprouting, but it's just like the fumes of it, the first lingering smells of it, and you don't know what it's going to be. So basically, this is the perfect time because it's ripe with opportunity. Anything can happen, literally anything. And I mean, as extravagant as you want to get, sure, yeah, that can happen. So then, like, you basically, if you want to create the best possible experience, is you have to feel good. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. And you can sit there when you're already feeling good. That's the best time to do the codes because you're in that high vibe open space where your heart is just open. And that's when I get guided. Do the codes now. And whether that's doing the candle or writing them repeatedly while I listen to music that I like, that matches, like if you're thinking about, happiness, joy, whatever, then do it right then. And you want to evoke that emotion, then you could take it a step further and start like visualizing. What would it feel like? What would it feel like to have this thing? Best case scenario. And then take it beyond that. Like, oh my God, wouldn't it be incredible if this and this happened? And then what if that happened? And, imagine like a little movie, like all the parts. How would you feel? What would you say? What would somebody else say? What would other people say? And walk it like that. And then you're in that fantasy and get like real vivid and sharp with it.
Yeah, and there's also the other side of the token where what I do sometimes is, so like a lot of times I will get very vivid and very, everything, but a lot of times I will also just be like, this is the outcome, fill it in, this is the out.
Yes.
Yeah, because so like this is the outcome that I really, really desire,
So then what, you get like super general? What do you mean by that? Like you just have like a general blanket feeling or what?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So like, for example, I haven't done it in a long time, but I always had this vision of the healing center somewhere in like Colorado or New Mexico or wherever, where those four corners were, and so I would envision the place, like it's all in my mind, this beautiful lodge with the way it looks and everything involved in it, and I even see the energies of the people that are around there, but I don't see them yet, like yeah. And as a matter of fact, I can almost pinpoint two of the energies to people that I know in true life now. So it's very interesting. But I won't even stick with that. I just look at what I have already envisioned. This is you know, I am a healer. I am in a free, or, you know, it's a place where we can give healing to everyone. It's free, you know, and we are all taken care of and we all live in harmony. And it is just of the highest, most wonderful uh, feeling, you know, like, um, and then I would sit in that. I would sit in that feeling of
Mhm.
completion and
Mhm.
love and all of that. And then I'd say, okay, guys, make it happen, you know?
Yes, yeah, that's a great point. Share with us the testimonials that you've received about the codes, because I've
Oh,
gotten a
right.
bunch, but you've gotten a bunch too.
hmm So, the first one night, I get a text and complaining, I got a headache. I can't go to sleep, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And I put, you know, I started doing the headache codes in text and I started typing them over and over and over again for the person. And suddenly they dropped off and went to sleep. So, yeah, yeah. So the headache one worked immediately. So another girl in my group chat, uh, so I had shared the original video, and then I hadn't gotten to see your second video, and then I watched your third, and then I watched your second, or I don't know how it went down, but I saw them out of order. And then when I went to my groups and stuff, I said, here, start with three first. Because I always like to have everybody look at your third one first, because I feel like if there's going to be any spiritual awakening happening
Oh,
for people to understand the concepts,
mm.
it'll come from the third video first, you know?
Oh, is that the
So I was
metaphysical one?
telling, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I told them, I told my group, my friends, we have a small, like a small chat group. I told them to check out the metaphysical ones and then check out one and two. And so anyway, she had written down the hiccup code. And remember you were saying you wish you could have hiccups so you could try it out?
Ah,
Well, she
yeah.
said that, yeah, she said it worked immediately.
Wow. And whoa, hiccups are fucking annoying. Wow.
Yeah. And then, so with, like I said, this arm shoulder thing, you know, it's like multi-layered. It really truly is, you know, because like I dive into the pain, and it's some of the most excruciating pain I've ever had. It's very nerve pain. It's like hot on fire, like as if I'm sticking my arm in an open flame and leaving it there, you know. And I get to a point like if it comes on really quickly, I'm just sort of like, oh, you know, and I don't want to breathe. I don't want to do anything. And then I realize, no, 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 I got to get bigger than it, you know, like I have to. So I dive into it, and it's almost like I sit and I'm quiet and still, and I'm just, okay, this is happening to me, but it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's like it's happening to me, but it's not me, kind of a
So
thing.
you're
Like I'm
neutralizing it.
almost distant. Yeah. And then suddenly I am bigger than the pain. The pain isn't bigger than me.
And have you used the
And then at
codes
that
for
point in
your
time,
arm? Have you tried the
well,
codes in there?
I was going to say, yeah. So what happens is like, this is where I got to this realization, because I started using the codes like crazy. And so suddenly like I was neutral. Everything was very good. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then suddenly the pain came back really hardcore. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And that's when I was able to see that it's not all mine. You
Mm.
know, it's like not all mine. It's outside of me also exacerbating
That's
what I
exactly
have
how I
in me.
feel about
So,
the sadness around me, because I feel it like around, but it still feels like it's mine, but I know it's not, and I feel it like just
yeah.
circling me. So that's
Now,
interesting.
see, I
Nurse.
heard of,
Tell about the nurse that you from Loyola.
right. So, well, first off, I feel like these three women, so there's triplets, okay? And
Really?
they are powerful women to begin with.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went to high school with them. And so one of them came to me and was like, you're spiritual. Is there something that you could do? Uh, one of our coworkers is on a respirator ventilator for the
Wow.
virus. And, right away I'm like, oh my gosh, and I looked at his picture, and honestly, the message I got was that, you know, it's unsure if his soul contract was to stay or go, you know, and I don't like to mess with that. You could sit
Mhm.
there and make an intention so
Right.
big that you mess up their soul contract or whatever, or mess up their, like, so maybe they don't exit now, they exit some other time when they're not, you know what I mean?
You just don't want to mess with
There's a
stuff
reason.
that's sacred. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I got an okay, like, no, go ahead and make intentions for him and stuff. So I did my own intentions to begin with, where I just called in my team and I, said, there's this light here on earth, and is if, could you, this person is affecting a lot of people. What that means is that, that his love, his light
Mhm.
affected other people,
Mhm.
so please help this person. And then I also gave her all the codes that had to do with the coronavirus and the self-healing, the cough, the flu, the the fever, the headache, the asthma, the every single one that you gave me, all those. So I gave them to her. I don't remember how it went down, but it was only maybe like 12 hours
Yeah,
later,
it
and
was
she's texting me.
fast. It was so fast.
Yeah, she's texting me like in tears
But
and
what did she
everything
do?
that
What did she do
he's
with the codes?
oh, so she stood over him and she had the codes in her phone, and then she was like mentally like writing them all over his body.
Wow.
hmm
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
So yeah. And she said that, he woke up off the ventilator, and I'm just like, and see, here I'm fighting myself right now because I'm like sitting there like, well, maybe it was just divine, and maybe it was that. Oh, I hate that about myself.
You
Why
know
can't I
what?
just
I feel
believe?
like it's everything played a part. Everything. Like just there's no I feel like there's a lot had a hand, but I feel like what if the codes was the thing that pushed him over to stay,
Oh
you know?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, oh my
Yeah, well,
God.
and then she said that that she started using the codes on everybody that they were taking care of over there. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
beautiful. And see,
but
like
I haven't.
me too, I've been receiving like just, people commenting and wanting codes for headaches or back pain or whatever. Everybody that has messaged me, it helped them. So, and I mean, I've seen it on myself. And like I said, I was
Mhm,
using them for a while as a guinea pig for me to see,
mhm,
is this a thing? Is it not? And I mean, they do
mhm,
work. So for me, I
mhm.
feel like you have nothing to lose and everything to
Oh
gain.
well, yeah. I got them sitting over there, but like every other code has worked for me except this thing. Like I sat there
Not
one day and
yet.
I was in a
Not
poopy.
yet. So don't say it hasn't. Just say not yet.
Oh, I'm
Like
sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
coming.
Oh no, it's already done. It's already done. Like
Yes.
in my mind, I'm already healed. It's just
Right.
not yet. You know what I mean? But for example, the code for negative energy,
Mhm.
to I forget exactly what it is,
Yeah, to
but I
reverse it.
basically did it. Yeah. So um, I was in a poopy, not feeling the day, and husband had already went to work. I'm just barely chugging along, and I knew my son was going to be coming down, and he was going to be all full ball of energy, and I didn't want to be a shithead to him. So I started looking at the code, and I'm staring at the code, and I'm staring at the code, and what I do is I literally, like, for me, because I'm an energy worker, and I think that if I could take and put those numbers into an energy body, that's how I think it
Mhm.
works the best for me. I will set it and forget it on a candle. Yeah, I've done that as well. But so far, with the like negative energy thing. So I sat down at the, you know, table here and I looked at the book that's got them and I started seeing that code and I kept like looking at the numbers so that they could like kind of be ingrained. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of just saw that number going all over my field, and I guess I focused on it long enough that I kind of forgot whatever was crabbing me out because it obviously
Wow.
changed,
Doesn't
right?
it feel like a
So,
meditation? Like it distracts you from whatever it is you're like focused on. For me
hmm
anyway, that's
sure.
how it feels because you're so intent on the numbers, on repeating it, on what it means that it takes you out of that hole.
Yeah, for real, for real. And see, that could be uh, the concept of those codes though is because they're numbers and they're a vibration of a quantum uh, caliber. They're like I said, I could see it up here, but I can't get it out what exactly they mean. But they they are sort of like the next level of all this other stuff that people had been doing all this while. You know what I mean? Like,
It,
for example, when I used to want to raise my mood, I would go and I would grab all these different herbs, put it in a pot of water, boil the water, walk around, smelling the herbs and thinking of intentions and stuff. Now it's like the next level is this code where
simpler.
the
Mhm.
code is what it is.
So like
Mm-hmm.
streamlined. If to me, I feel like those people that I'm sure you've heard it too. People in the spiritual community, they're like, "Oh, the event hasn't happened, and we're supposed to get free technology, and we're supposed to get this and that." And I'm like, "Well, number
You're
one,
not looking.
who says the event hasn't happened? We don't know what it's going to be like. What if we're in it? What if it's been happening? We don't know. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
ignorant to exactly how it's going to play out. So like that's not true. Like we don't really know that. And then number two, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like stuff like these codes is technology. This is technology. And I think that the assumption is it has to be electronic. It has to be, I don't know, like in the ways that people think of
Yeah.
technology
Right.
really is a tool. So
Yeah.
anything could be a tool, a word, an emotion, you know what I'm saying? So it is
Mm-hmm.
technology, and we do have technology, and it's free, and it works, and it's next level. And I mean, these codes have been around. It's just that now they're gaining momentum because
Mm-hmm.
more people are using them, and they work. You can't deny that it doesn't. I mean, it works. And so just keep at it, keep doing it, and don't watch the thoughts because I feel like you can talk yourself out of the magic. And if you're doing the code, but then the mind talk is like, well, this is bullshit, and well, you're canceling out your code. Don't cancel out
How do
your
you
intention.
feel? How do you feel about the people who are stuck in battling forever and ever? Like, um,
The
because a
warrior.
lot of light workers, yes, a lot of light workers, they we were working on the grid, we were doing all this stuff, we were seeing like things in the other
Mhm,
planes, and we
mhm.
were using our special practices to get rid of these things.
Yeah.
And what if you're just stuck in this mode, always saying that there's stuff out there when thousands and thousands of people are saying, no, it's finished, you know?
Well, I think that if you want it to, so I feel like we're so powerful that you can create any reality that you want. So if you think that you're doomed, if you think that you have to fight something, then you do. Yeah, absolutely. But also at the same token, you can choose to stand up. It's like thinking you're drowning and then somebody comes along and they're like, dude, stand up. You're in 2 feet of water. You're not drowning. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm huge. And you stand up and all of a sudden you're like, why was I freaking out? But I feel like it's a
Mhm.
choice. And some people are in love with the drama. They love feeling needed. They love feeling, like they have a purpose, because I feel like there's in the void, in the in between state of, it's like a big waiting room where you don't know what's next. That's kind of a uncomfortable place. It can be because you don't have a purpose. You don't know what the fuck's happening next. And it's a blind curb and you can't see. So then
Yeah.
all you can do is intend that it's going to be wonderful and set your intentions, and that's where you get to create your next reality and be like, well, what would I want? What would the next phase look like? Well, I want to have fun. I want romance. I want whatever, business success, anything, travel. But like, it's a choice. Sorry, I keep I keep stepping on your words.
So it's almost like from that I'm destroying everything, I'm getting rid of this, I'm getting rid of that, I'm getting rid of this. Now you're pulling everything to you.
Now
You're
you're
pulling the love
planting,
and the
you're
light.
creating, you're
Yeah.
planting instead of breaking shit and setting it on fire. Because I was guided a year ago to put down my sword. Like, we're not fighting anymore. Stop. You don't need all that protection. You don't need to fight. There is no enemy. It's just you. And then,
Right.
oh, okay. And it even just that realization makes you like you exhale, but you have to want to stop. Cause it's fun
Yeah.
holding that sword. That fucking sword is addictive. And like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've been doing it for so fucking long. It's like, who am I without this sword? And that's the scary part. It's like knowing that there's better, that it always gets better. It can only be better. And then like fear of change, fear of new. They say when you get like your heart's desire, there is a mind fuck moment that's like, oh my God. And you're scared shitless that you got what you wanted. Like, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's an opportunity, whatever. There is that stage fright moment where you're like, oh, where it feels huge and impossible. And how am I going to fill these shoes? I've never done this. I don't know this recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, it disguises scary, but that's fun, because that's why we came here, to experience new things, to try new dishes and cultures and go to different countries and see how they do it over there. And like, that's interesting, that's fun, that's what makes life worth living. The same thing with relationships, like just being with different people. I mean, like, ooh, how fun, how is it going to be now, like what's the next guy going to be like, and how, you know dating a younger person, dating someone your age, dating someone older than you, dating a different race, like there's so many combinations. And how exciting is that? Like, just seeing what variety, that's what makes life so fun, is the variety, getting to go on an adventure and deciding that it's an adventure and that you're going to enjoy it no matter what. And you're definitely going to learn something, even if you fall on your fucking face. You're going to learn and you'll get better. And oh, I'm not doing that again. Right? Just like I learned from the last one,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not doing that again. And but it's okay, because it
Yeah.
was fun. There are good
Yeah.
and there's some not so great, but that's okay. Like, it doesn't, nothing is perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's fun, so focus on the fun. So what
Right.
are any last like bits of advice, so we can wrap up, that you
Yeah.
would give people that are feeling yucky right now, that they can do?
Well, know that, if you go out in public or whatever and you don't know this about yourself, you're probably collecting. And know that when you get back to your safe space, create a safe space. What is your house like? Is it, is it a place where, even if it's just maybe your bathroom or your bedroom or even just a small area, do you have a safe space? Do your little crystals or your whatever the, that may make you calm, or grounded or whatever. Um, your tools, make yourself an itinerary and make yourself a bunch of tools. Do you have, rosemary? Do you have rosemary oil? Do you have Epsom salt bath? Do you have certain meditation music that calms you down and listens to things like even sage, Palo Santo, things like that? Anything. You could ring a bell. Like if you're feeling wigged out, like too much overwhelmed, you could just ring a bell that literally dissipates, it sends a vibration and dissipates the energy for just enough time for you to get a grip,
Or
Um,
clapping your
and
hands.
then,
Clapping your hands breaks up energy. Go on YouTube and Google like singing bowls or the
mhm,
tuning forks. There's videos of audio of that stuff. Lavender
and
essential oil for love.
yeah, yeah. And use resources, look stuff up, ask questions, go to groups and ask questions. Don't feel stupid. Connect with
Talk.
other people. Just
Talk.
mhm.
Ask if you need to
Use,
talk somebody. Talk. Look on Facebook on the comments below. I mean, you're not alone. There's a bunch of us, and that's like the biggest like lie during this is that we all think I'm the only one that's feeling this. I'm alone. And that's not true. We're all feeling this. We're all here. So together we'll
it
get
is
through it.
it is a very alone thing that you have to do though, when you go through your own layers and
Oh, nobody
you're
can fix your
judging
shit
what
but
needs to
you. Yeah.
right, and you need to be real, uh, keep asking the why questions. Well, why is it this way? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why do I feel this way? Well, why are you, I mean, like I'm thinking specifically about somebody who's kind of in conflict with their higher self, or at least that's what they say. And it's like, I would start asking that higher self, well, why? Why am I this way? Why do you say that? Why do you feel this way? Why? Why? You know what I mean? Get your answers so you can get yourself clear,
Well, and then
so
also
you can
like you don't
be
have to believe everything that you like if it doesn't sit right, you don't have to just take it on. I feel like you have
right.
ultimate veto power and you're like, actually, we're doing this. Actually, it's like this. Actually, I'm deciding that I'm not doing that shit anymore and this is what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And like
Hmm.
you're the boss. I've had so many screaming matches with my team where I'm like, stop bringing me these shitty people. Like, no, or whatever. I'm just making something up, but I'm saying like you're the boss. You get
Hmm.
to pick, you get to decide, you get to and like also pay attention. Like this is a huge opportunity to pay attention to your patterns, pay attention to your addictions, like you said, pay attention to your self sabotage because you say you want one thing, but then here you go doing the opposite. And I'm not blaming you, I'm talking about myself, really. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you want to lose weight. Well, your habits aren't matching that. Or you want to stop, settling. Well, then stop texting that person or stop calling that person, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
change your behavior. Once you make the decision, follow up with action of like, oh, yeah, we don't do that anymore. That's the new Sylvia
or
doesn't do that anymore.
hmm or you were saying about not texting that person or not talking to that person or situation or whatever it may be. It may be even the opposite. It may be where you're a type of person that's a little standoffish. You
Yeah.
need to text that person. You need to show more love. You need to, because you can't expect other people to show love to you if you can't show love. It's always a mirror, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people right now that I guess that they're playing the tape in their head of like love is scary, and if I'm vulnerable, then oh no, I'm gonna die, and I can't trust, and that's not
Mhm.
true. So like if you're one of
Yeah.
the people that are doing that, like that's not true. Like not you're okay, number one, you're not gonna die. That's just point blank period. You're not gonna die from loving. Even if they break your heart, so what?
Yeah.
Like, come
It
on.
feels
Me,
like it
hello,
in,
after 20 years of being with someone and like
yeah.
I thought it was going to be forever. I'm here. I'm okay. Like life goes on and like there are no mistakes. Everything is meant to happen exactly the way it happens. for you. You are doing it. And I feel like we forget that. I know I do. I have to constantly keep reminding myself, like, this is the recipe. This is the shortcut. If you want to get what you asked for on your shopping list, we got to go this way. And you don't have to understand the zigs and zags and turns and everything, but your team understands. And like, so then just ask for clarity, ask for whatever it is you need. I want to understand because I don't understand. Help me to understand. Or patience, whatever it is that you need. Ask for it or intend it. Just say, I set the intention to cultivate more understanding, patience, whatever. You don't have to pray for it. You can just command it out of yourself.
I keep hearing fall in love with yourself.
Yeah. Oh, love, they say love
that
heals
phrase.
everything. So we'll wrap up on that note. Love yourself. Love heals everything.
Well, yeah.
Love conquers all. Well, it always comes back to love, doesn't it? And that's what everybody's looking for. But interestingly, that's what a lot of us are afraid of.
So fall in love with yourself so that way you can know exactly what you want and what you need so that you can then know what.
You recognize it.
Fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself.
I love that. Thank you so much, Roseanne. I appreciate your time. I hope this video helps you. Bye.